you're settled in. Please join us. Get down in our soul.
So we are beginning a new series today called Stories of Triumph. And in it, we are featuring stories of our congregants. And today we have Sarah Hood and Christine Sharmer, who are sharing their amazing inspirational stories with us. So I will be reading with them and invite you to sit back and open your heart, because it will be opened anyway, even if you choose not to. Enjoy.
Yes, I hear the music.
Hi, I'm Christine Sharmer, and this is my story.
I have two beautiful grown sons, Miguel and Mario.
After my husband Mark and I raised them, we raised Mario again.
Our sweet angels were also wild teenagers who loved to party.
When Mario was 16, he punched another kid, and that was the final straw. He was sent to the boys' farm for 6 months.
Afterwards, he chose to live with his birth dad.
Mario is really handsome and did some modeling. He loved girls, and the girls loved him.
After he graduated, he moved back home with plans for a summer of fun.
Then the boys would be moving out together and attending massage therapy school.
I had just turned 50 and was really looking forward to that empty nest.
But all of our plans came to a screeching halt on the night of August 8th.
Let's take a look at this video to see what happened.
Down in my soul, I feel the power. Down in my soul. And see if you remember it. So please rise and join us. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we see. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. That's it. Try it again. We are the ones we've been waiting. We are the love that we see. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. There's a little different part here. Oh, I am that I am. I am that I am. We are the ones. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we see. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. Do that again. I am that I am. Oh, I am that I am. We are the ones. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. We are the ones we've been waiting. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. We are the harvest. We are the harvest we reap. We are the harvest we reap. Nicely done. Give yourselves a hand.
Good morning. My name is Linda Stevens, and it is my joy and my honor to be with you this morning. Thank you so much, Tyler. You are fabulous as always. Thank you so much for being our musician this morning. Good morning, guys at home. We know you're there, okay? We can't see you, we can't hear you, but welcome. You add to our service. Thank you so much for being with us. Now I invite you to turn your cell phones off and or put them on silent so that they don't talk to you during our service today. And we want to welcome our guest artist back, Stephen Walters. Welcome, Stephen. It's good to have you. And Stephen will have some CDs available out on the patio after service. Unity is a spiritual place for our spiritual growth. It helps us with our spiritual path for living. At Unity of Walnut Creek, our mission is, in a loving community, we empower spiritual growth by modeling, teaching universal spiritual principles. Now I invite you to look at the monitor, if you don't already have it in your heart, and affirm with me our statement of faith. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Now let that sink in just a little deeper. Take a breath. And again, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Thank you. Now, if you're with us for the very first time and you're comfortable in doing so, we invite you to raise your hand now. And we'll have a beautiful welcome packet for you. And inside that welcome packet, there is a handmade wooden necklace that's made by one of our congregants. And if you choose to wear that necklace today, our welcome ambassadors will be able to identify you. Thank you. There's also a connection card in that pocket, and please take it to our bookstore for an additional welcome gift. Now, if you would have rather, instead of raising your hand, you can pick that welcome packet up at the gift store and the welcome gift as well. Now, there are connection cards available for everyone in the seat pocket in front of you. With this card, you can submit a prayer request, and one of our prayer chaplains will be praying with you throughout the week. You may also share feedback with us on these cards. If you request information, someone from our staff will call you during the week, and the ushers will receive those cards from everybody at the offering time. And now it's time to greet your neighbors. So stand up and greet those around you until you hear the gong.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hi, my name is Zoe, and I would like to share some announcements about opportunities in our community. Would you like to learn more about the business of our spiritual community? Please join us today, immediately following the 11:30 service in the sanctuary. We will have a community gathering with our Board of Trustees. Please bring your questions and feedback. And Unity will be providing lunch for homeless people staying in the Concord Adult Shelter. We are seeking team members to help us prepare sandwiches on the second Saturday of each month. If you would like to be part of this, please see today's bulletin. And Unity returns to the Summer of Love for our fall fundraiser. Auction donations are needed now. Please visit the guest service tables on our patio for copies of the donation form. I would like to invite Tyler to the platform.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Tyler.
So how about more music?
Okay.
I hope you enjoyed our concert series. I hope you were able to come in June when we had the wonderful Jamie Lula. Just last month we had Charlie Thweet here. We're going to conclude our summer concert series with something even more fabulous. It's our own in-house folks who will be sharing their music with you. So this is the conclusion of the Stories of Triumph series. Today is our second week. Next Sunday, when the concert happens, will be the final week. So these are songs that we've collected about that concept of triumph, of overcoming obstacles, of coming into your spiritual power. But the cool thing is it's all the folks that you have known and loved up here over the years on Sundays coming together to share their music with you. So if you have enjoyed hearing John Shin sing, or Ronnie Ong, or Mitch Monroe, lots of our other musicians and singers, you get to see them all in this concert. And what we're going to do is have the concert at 2 p.m. next Sunday with a potluck lunch in between. So after the 11:30 service, we'll go to the community room for the potluck. So you need to do two things. You need to think about what you're going to bring to the potluck, and you need to make sure 2 o'clock, August 27th, next Sunday, is on your calendar for Songs of Triumph. It's going to be fabulous. I'll see you there. Thank you.
And to find out more about these and other activities, look online and in today's bulletin. And now for more music.
Good morning. Good morning. So some years ago, I was staying at some friend's house. There was a couple that had a new baby, and they were traveling. And I was just there by myself and started thinking about babies. And along with the theme of today, Stories of Triumph, I was thinking, like, what an amazing thing is that each of us has to go through to just take birth. You know, and along with it, I was thinking, well, what would a baby sing if a baby was about 6 months old? What would be the song? Would it be opera? Would it be a country tune? And I realized, no, it'd probably go something like this. Mama threw me out the day I was born. I cried just like a baby. I had to leave my happy home. You know, I've been 9 months in a place so nice and serene. Now I'm blind, cold, and naked, and I think I got a right to scream. It's my first day out. I've already had enough. No one said life would be easy, but no one said it'd be this tough. At 6 months old, they threw me in the pen. I got out on good behavior, but they put me right back again. I swear now, people, I swear now, I've been framed. Not to mention I got this rash on my bottom, and Lord, it's inflamed. They pinched me and squeezed me, feed me all kinds of nasty stuff. No one said life would be easy, but no one said it'd be this tough. You know what I'd say? If I could talk, I'm getting out of this joint as soon as I learn to walk. Watch out, baby's gonna play the blues now. Listen here now, people. Hear me when I say, gonna find me that doctor that smacked me that first day. I'm gonna grab that dude, hold him upside down by his heels, smack him on his bottom and say, now, you see how that feels. I hit the bottle, then went on to harder stuff. No one said life would be easy, but no one said it'd be. There's no one said it'd be. No one said it'd be this tough. Ow! Baby got the blues.
That was fabulous. Thank you, Stephen. I'm not quite sure how to transition from Baby's Got the Blues to Prayer of St. Francis, but we're going to do it. Annie Love is our prayer chaplain today, and she's going to begin our meditation time with the Prayer of St. Francis.
Well, now all our hearts are open for babies, so here we go. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. And it is in dying to ego that we are born to eternal life.
So just invite you to prepare to receive this music as it takes us deeper into the heart.
Only one thing always here. Seamlessly unbroken. That which in this world appears. These words never will be spoken, listening. Listening to the silence. Sing. Worlds arise and pass away. Like waves on an endless ocean. Only one thing I can say is true. I'm not who I think I am. Listening. Listening. To the silence. Sing. On a moonlit winter's night, I heard snowflakes fall, so still it was almost like nothing at all. And I've listened to the waves crashing on the shore till I was no more. Only one thing always here. Seamlessly unbroken. That which in this world appears. These words never will be spoken. We're listening.
Listen. Listening within our hearts. Hearing the couplets of St. Francis that take us further into oneness. For as we find hatred in the world, we so love. Where we find sorrow, joy, darkness, light. O Divine Master, we ask, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. So we enter this space of pure love and understanding, consolation and pardon. We invite the whole world into this space of knowing that there is only love. Love within each of us that has the power to transform anything that looks other than love. In our silent time, we bring on, welcome in the pain. Because with the strength of the divine within, we transform that pain into joy, that hatred or fear into love, anxiety into peace. So let us be that light and that love, inviting in the world in a few moments of silence. We give thanks for this power within us individually and collectively, to transform the world, to return the world to love. And so it is.
Listening, listening, to the silence. Sing. Again, along with the theme of stories of triumph, I was thinking back to a time when I was, again, very little, and I went to the shore for the first time. What we called in New Jersey the shore. We don't call it coast. And it was the first time I really looked and I watched, because I was scared. I'd gotten knocked over by a wave, and I watched, and like, how did those kids get out beyond the waves? And I watched and I learned something that day, and this song is called Dive Right In. I remember my first trip to the ocean, how the big waves kept rolling in, and how the first one knocked me right over. I swallowed water and I scraped up my chin. Then I waded in shallow water and just watched all the other kids swim, till I saw this big wave start breaking, and I couldn't believe it. I saw this one kid, he just dove right in. He dove right in. He dove right in. And he came out on the other side, laughing, laughing. He dove right in. He dove right in. And he came out on the other side, laughing. Well, I never had so much fun as I did that day. I swam till my lips turned purple. My mom had to drag me away, and I remember staring out the back of the station wagon on the Garden State, just knowing I'd learned something. Well, the years rolled by, and I just kept my head above water, but it's like I'd forgotten something that I really should remember, till the pain got so bad, and somehow by grace I surrendered and I dove right in. You want to sing this with me? I dove right in. I dove right in. I dove right in. I dove right in, and I came out on the other side. And I came out on the other side laughing, laughing, laughing. I dove right in again. I dove right in, and I came out on the other side. Laughing. You can try and run from the waves, but tell me, can we really? Or wouldn't it be better now just to learn how to swim? It's a lot more fun once you see you are the ocean. Come on, everybody just dive right in. Here we go again, dive right in. Dive right in, dive right in, and you come out on the other side, and you're coming out on the other side, laughing, laughing, dive right in, dive right in, and you come out on the other side. I like it. Let's do it again. Dive right in, you dive right in, and you come out on the other side, laughing, laughing, dive right in. Yes, we're gonna dive right in, and you come out on the other side. It's my favorite part. Laughing, laughing.
Well, I have two amazing community members to introduce to you today that you may have, many of you know well, but you're going to get to know them even better today. They chose to dive right in. To dive right in and say, yes, I will share my story of triumph. So we have with us today Larry Curtin. I want to invite you up. And Zula Reeves. And if anybody's ever felt anxious, anybody ever felt anxious in their life? You're going to resonate with Larry's story. Anybody ever felt otherized in any way? You're going to resonate with Zula's story. So here we go.
Okay, I'm Larry, and this is my story.
I grew up in Pleasant Hill in a tight-knit family that included my mom, dad, brother Mike, and sister Sharon.
I was a late bloomer and the baby of the family. Mike was 5 years older than me. Sharon is 11 years older.
My dad was overprotective. He believed there was danger outside the family nest, and the message was always, don't go too far.
While my mom's message was, get out there and explore.
There was a battle of these two attitudes between my parents.
For better or worse, I've carried that battle of their attitudes on within me.
When I was in high school, I experimented with smoking marijuana, and it sent me into a horrible panic. I ran out of the house looking for relief.
Afterwards, I had anxiety symptoms every time I drove to work. While the symptoms started to fade away, I was convinced to try it again.
But I had the same reaction, and I bolted out of the house once again.
The next day, I sat in a daze in the backyard all day and vowed to myself that I would never smoke, drink, or do anything that would make me feel so out of control.
Those contrasting parental attitudes of adventure and caution are not always at war within me. Sometimes they dance together in just the right combination.
I've always loved to drive, and I like to help people who are in trouble.
As a teenager, I got involved in REACT, a CB communications system that rescue groups used.
When I was 18, I developed my own volunteer emergency road and rescue service.
Helping others in this way was more of an authentic pastime for me than getting high.
School was okay unless I was asked to do a presentation. One time in social studies class, I stood up and I looked out at the class to read my one-page synopsis, and
I froze. Completely lost my voice and even my breath.
Contrary to my dad's stay close and safe warnings, my first move out of the house was all the way across the country to Boston.
With my big sister and her boyfriend, Dave.
I was in my 20s when we packed up my truck and drove across the states.
We lived in Boston together for several years until I got my own place.
I am always willing to try something new work-wise and am quick to move up the ladder.
I've been a bowling alley mechanic, a professional driver, and an optician. And during those 6 years in Boston, I was an electronics salesman, a dispatcher, and a payroll driver.
One day while working as a payroll driver, I was making a delivery in a high-rise and got in an elevator full of people.
My anxiety rises when I feel claustrophobic and don't have any way to escape.
So while we were going up the elevator, it just stopped midway.
And then it dropped 2 feet.
With the mounting fear of the elevator dropping quickly, people were yelling and getting hysterical.
I went numb, but I'm not a screamer, and I knew I had to get out of there. And I felt lightheaded, and my heart started racing.
During those terrifying moments, we all managed to pry the doors open.
The opening between the elevator and the next floor was about 2 feet, and we each climbed through.
This experience deepened the groove of anxiety within me. And as a dental issue I developed around the time called soft teeth syndrome.
I suffered through bone scrapings and 13 root canals. It created so much stress that I couldn't sit in a dental chair again.
Meanwhile, my parents were having some health issues back home, so I returned to California to help out.
While I was home, my brother taught me to fly an airplane. Or the thrill of being up in the ground with a bird's eye view of the land.
Whether it's a plane or a car, I feel as free as long as I'm in the driver's seat.
Don't make me a passenger, though. Then I want to split as soon as possible.
As long as I'm in control on the adventures my inner mother encourages, I can deal with my inner father who silently chants, "It's dangerous out there."
Well, I was having great fun learning to fly planes with my brother. Sometimes out east, something out east was tugging at me.
The Smoky Mountains. For as long as I could remember, I wanted to be there.
I followed the call and secured an apartment in Tennessee by phone.
And took to the open road.
I easily found a job there, but it was halfway across the state from my new apartment.
It was still worth it to me. I was living in the mystical beauty of the Smoky Mountains, and my dream job had arrived.
I would be driving big rigs.
The freedom to see different areas of the country is a lot of fun to me. I've never been afraid of the road.
I remember just where I was on a long haul in New Jersey when I received the phone call that my dad had died.
I immediately pulled over into a rest area to be with the pain of the loss and being so far away.
My dad had Parkinson's disease and cancer.
My mom had already made her transition by then. She was a smoker and had developed lung cancer.
I'm so glad Dad was there the day I pushed through my anxiety and got my pilot's license. It was the last time I flew.
After Dad's death, my sister Sharon came out to visit me in Tennessee and brought a book with her called A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson.
It was so good, I ran right out and purchased the full A Course in Miracles.
After that, I listened to spiritual audio tapes at the time. I remember driving through Cades Cove, a wildlife park in the Smoky Mountains, listening to these tapes.
I was thinking about how I've always felt so deeply connected to nature and other people.
I said to Sharon, these teachings are how I've been living my life. It's really amazing.
We were Catholic, and I didn't realize that there were churches out there that believed this way. We found unity together.
My brother Mike liked the New Thought beliefs too, and he and his wife came to Unity of Walnut Creek around then too.
About 7 years ago, I heard about Circulation Day here at Unity of Walnut Creek.
I had a nice bicycle that I wasn't using anymore, so I brought it over on drop-off day.
John Ortiz was volunteering there, and he said,
"This is unbelievable. I've been praying for a bicycle."
"Well, here you go then."
He invited me to come to Unity the following Sunday.
I wasn't comfortable going to church by myself, so he met me out at the door that Sunday, and we came in together.
When I told him I played drums, he said, "I'm going to get you in."
Oh, wait a minute. Let's not move too fast, I said.
Don't worry, John said. Scotty will help you.
Scotty and the crew did eventually usher me onto the music team here with love, acceptance, and patience.
That first Sunday, I was far from ready to drum in front of people, but I couldn't wait to come back the next week.
It took at least a year before I got up the nerve to drum.
When I started, I was trying to find my way to enjoy it rather than just getting through it.
Then I played a Carol Manson concert here. She sang a song called "Turn Me Around," and that's exactly what it did for me.
I was thinking, we can't do this kind of music in church, yet we were.
I didn't know where she was going with the song, but the drumming was flowing through me, and Brooksy didn't miss a key.
I was completely inside the music, not thinking about anything around me.
Carol's lyrics and projection were phenomenal. This intense energy was building as she was singing about a brand new day. The cymbal rolls were just coming through, and it ended with a big round of applause.
That was a turning point to where I am now. My drumming performance anxiety left me after that song.
I realized then I can give over to Spirit and let the music happen through me.
I wanted to volunteer more at Unity, and then I met Sherry, who taught me how to run the camera. I even started doing shoots for her for work.
The most incredibly positive things have happened to me here at Unity.
One day, Terry walked in, and I said, "Who is that?" I felt an immediate connection.
I saw someone signing for her and realized she was deaf. I was so intrigued with her.
John thought we would be a good match.
Me? Go up and ask her out? I couldn't do that, no way. The fact that a communication intervention was needed made it far easier.
Over the course of the year, we got to know each other as friends, and we were married 4 years ago.
It's so wonderful to have similar spiritual views, enjoy spiritual books together, and have the same outlook on higher power and source energy.
We are a great fit.
This is the first relationship Terry has had with someone willing to learn sign language.
It's not been easy for me, and I'm slow, but she's patient and enthusiastic about how much we can communicate with sign language now.
Terry has been such a great source of support for me, too.
In addition to the anxiety I deal with, I've been diagnosed with a neurological condition called chorea.
If I keep my legs down when I sit, tingling and heat goes up my spine, and more anxiety starts manifesting.
I found ways to manage it. I have a calming seated position with one leg up.
I've learned to redirect the neurological signals by tapping or applying pressure. It takes my concentration away from my mind and creates a sense of calm.
If the nerve pain fires in a certain way, my body can snap like a rubber band and take me down to my knees.
It only lasts a few minutes, but I often worry that it's going to happen, especially when I'm drumming.
Ultimately, I know I'm in a loving place. And whatever happens, it'll be all right.
I love to be of service. I'm now the head of the AV team and security at Unity.
I would not have imagined that when I started coming here.
Spirit always has a better plan.
Unity has offered a lot of growth opportunities.
Do you know how often we're invited to close our eyes in meditation or hold hands in circles here? These things are terribly nerve-wracking for me.
I meditate in the morning by myself for 30 to 45 minutes. No problem.
When I meditate with others, I get concerned that they will be disturbed by my movements to calm my nerves.
If I'm holding hands on both sides, I feel completely trapped. Everyone looks so happy to make the connection, and I'm looking for my exit.
I want to feel connected in groups, so I've persisted through the challenges.
This week, I completed my first class at Unity, the 4 Pillars of Prosperity tithing class.
The battle of the mind went on, and I felt like I was fighting to stay in the circle during class sessions. But I did it for 6 weeks.
I've seen counselors, and I'm reading books and getting down to the root of this anxiety.
A month ago, I met a health coach who's helping me with nutrition and supplements. I'm weaning off soda and drinking more water.
And just 2 weeks ago, I tithed the full 10% of my income for the first time in class. It felt really good.
I don't have to hold on to or try to control the flow of money.
When I think of all the monetary gifts I've received in my life, it makes me want to give more. It's really a cool feeling.
I love to be of service in honor of our connection to one another, and I love to feel free.
I know I'll get past the blocks and feel the freedom of flying an airplane again.
Spiritually, I've touched an even sweeter freedom than flying.
The kind that's beyond my control.
Like those suspended moments during the drumming the Carol Manson song, or the sweet release I felt when I tithed for the first time in class.
These freedoms are not born from control. They come from complete surrender to Spirit. And no plane can take me that high.
Just stay up here, we're going to say it. Listen. It's one thing to tell about a triumph you've gone through in the past, and it's another thing to let people witness you through your triumph. Thank you, Larry. Thank you. Really touched by your story. Let's sing to Larry and bless him. It's your cue.
You know, this one blessing to the world, because you are a blessing, Larry. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of Spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do are a blessing to the world. Let's do that again. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of Spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world, is a blessing to the world.
You can sit down now. Really? So let's just take a nice deep breath before we begin the next story. And Trey Boxer is coming up to help us read Zula's story. One story was enough today, right, Larry? And drumming. And running the AV booth.
Hi, I'm Zula, and this is my story.
I was a mixed-race child in the late 50s when mixed-race marriages were still illegal.
I look like my mother more than my brother or two sisters. Mom is Hawaiian and Polish-born. She was born during World War II, and Hawaiians were not treated well then.
When she married my dad, a black man from Arkansas, his family did not accept her, so the racial hatred she had always felt from others continued.
I was the firstborn, and my mother chose the Aboriginal name Zula for me. My name is linked to Poland, Africa, and Australia.
My name became yet another reason for the kids at school to ridicule me, so I went by my middle name, Michelle.
A lot of ugliness happened to our family that I internalized and never spoke about.
The deepest imprint of hatred was left on my 3-year-old self. My family lived in Germany at the time, and we were at Oktoberfest. A woman walked right up to me, and out of earshot of my parents, she said, "You should not be here."
I froze. With every cell of my body, I knew what she meant. I shouldn't exist at all. The walls went up right then. I call them my Uzi-proof walls.
The world told me I was ugly based on my skin color and features. At school, the kids chased me around and the teachers looked down on me because I was mixed race.
My family operated in secret, so my heartache was kept private. No one else could possibly understand anyway. I was one of a kind.
Even though I had siblings, I felt alone. As siblings, we are different shades and different hair. And apparently all of that was proportional to our worth as measured by the world around us.
When my mother's family gets together, we look like the United Nations. Her brother married an Irish woman, and her sister married a black man.
Collectively, we range from white skin with red hair to black skin with afros.
When we were kids, my grandfather took us all out for ice cream, and the man behind the counter said, "You brought the whole neighborhood in."
"Nope, they're all mine," he said. At least he claimed us.
My dad was in the Army, and we moved a lot. On one of our moves, we were headed from Tacoma back to D.C.
It was in 1969, in the middle of the night, and Dad had a new job to report to at 7 a.m.
We were looking for a hotel and kept getting further and further from the military base until finally we found one with a vacancy sign out front.
The kids were all asleep except me. I have never been able to sleep, so I was pretend sleeping in the back seat. My dad got out of the car and came back and said that there was no room available.
We sat there for a long time in silence, marked by whispers from my parents in the front seat.
Finally, about 3 a.m., my mother went in and came back with a key.
My mother would be crushed if she knew that I knew that. I never told. She wanted so much for me to be safe and have a different life than she did.
So many ugly things happened to us. We came out to get in the car and all 4 tires were slashed.
Despite the hatred, my father did well and worked hard. He didn't go to college, but he must have had great aptitude because he became an engineer in the Army.
His exact job was, of course, a secret.
Our family wasn't real close, and we didn't touch very often. Neither of my parents seemed to know how to be physically affectionate with us.
In high school, I would always jump back when I was touched, even when I was touched incidentally in a crowded hallway.
I was exposed to a new layer of racism in high school. I had never heard the term high yeller until I watched the Spike Lee film, and then I experienced it firsthand. In the hierarchy of skin color, I witnessed and was subjected to more ugly judgments.
I was also surrounded by closeted gay boys in high school. I remember being with my friend John, and he couldn't stop crying. I said, "What is it, John?"
Through his tears, he choked out, "I'm gay."
I asked him why he didn't tell me sooner, even though I already knew. And he said he thought I wouldn't love him anymore.
Another gay male friend was a Marine, and it was so hard for him to be who he is. It hurt so much. That kind of judgment for who I am or someone else is really hurts.
I was also getting the message that I was less than as a female.
My brother seemed to have a completely different life than I did. My parents were always treating him differently than my sisters and me. They focused on making his life easier, and they had higher expectations of him.
It was assumed that he would graduate from high school, and I didn't know it at the time, that it was also my mother's greatest secret hope that I too would graduate.
I didn't think of it as a great accomplishment, but I was the first female in the family to graduate, and for my mom, it was huge. She couldn't stop crying at my ceremony.
I learned later why that was so important to her. Her crushed dreams were cast upon me, the daughter most like her, as deep hopes.
My mother signed us up for all kinds of activities, and one of those was dance.
Dance is really why I'm still here. I found so much freedom and healing in dance. It let things out and allows me to release what needs to be released.
Dancing and music are such a part of me. It was what I wanted to do, but I wasn't allowed to do that as a career.
We lived in D.C., not New York. In D.C., sensible people take a civil service test and go to work for the government for 20 years. That's security.
But I didn't need job security. I needed freedom. And as a young adult, I persisted. I was drawn to movement and creativity and became a dance teacher and graphic designer.
In 1998, I moved to California with my husband, who had been transferred. Naturally, he was an undercover agent.
At our wedding, his best man commented on what a better man he had become. I thought he just meant he was happier now.
In time, my husband regressed to his old relationship patterns and became mentally abusive toward me.
We eventually divorced.
Sleep was always elusive for me. I started drinking to fall asleep, and that led me to Alcoholics Anonymous.
Through the 12 steps, I started doing forgiveness work. Step 9 is making amends.
My mom and I had a difficult relationship, and I really wanted to mend it. So I wrote her a heartfelt letter, and we stopped yelling at each other.
I was spiritually seeking. I started dating a Mormon man. I learned a lot about the Bible and was even baptized Mormon, but I knew I didn't belong.
I just didn't know where to go.
Then my friend Tammy brought me to Unity of Walnut Creek, the crab feed, in 2008. Everyone was dancing and having so much fun. The energy was so cool, so I started coming here.
The way I look at me began to change. Freedom is what grabbed me. I felt my spirit could soar here.
God is here. Love is here. I felt it from a lot of people here. Finally, I was among people who are open and, for the most part, non-judgmental.
I was hungry for more. I came to every SEE class and every other kind of class. Inner questions started to get answers, and dots were connected.
I took every one of Reverend Sheila's classes. She helped me to understand Jesus. I didn't know who he was before.
Unity helped me to understand why I never felt right in church. No matter what church I was going to, Baptist, Catholic, or Mormon, I never did belong.
Until now. What I realized that unity that I never knew as a little child is that I am one.
I had eczema my whole life, and before I started coming to Unity, I had such a horribly painful flare-up that I had to wrap a coat around my naked body to go to the ER.
The reason is clear to me now. I needed to forgive on a cellular level. I forgave the woman who told my 3-year-old self that I didn't have the right to exist.
I forgave the man at the hotel front desk who refused my family a place to sleep.
I forgave my parents for the hurtful things that happened growing up. I forgave people in general, myself, even God.
I never blamed God for anything, but I forgave anyway. And oh, what freedom I have found in forgiveness.
My heart was healing, and my spirit was awakening.
But my mind was still sleepless, and I had lots of bouts of uncontrollable depression and mania. Finally, I went to see a psychiatrist and was diagnosed bipolar.
The last time I had a manic episode, I was taking the class Finding Yourself in Transition with Reverend Sheila. I realized I was in the wilderness, and it was okay to be there. I didn't know how, but I knew that it would end.
That was the first time I was aware that I was in a manic state, so I didn't lose it. I just watched as a witness.
I'm on a new frontier of healing now. I prayed recently knowing that if I really need help at this time in my life, it will be there. I've done almost everything on my own up until now.
My recent prayers led me to a very generous counselor who took me on, and we started working from that three-year-old experience forward.
I am freeing myself to be myself on every level now, mind, heart, and spirit. And it's not just about me. I feel really motivated to tell my story today because of the hurtful things that are happening in the world.
People are not aware of the depth of hurt that bigotry causes.
I think what's happening in our country and the world is happening for a reason, to awaken us, to heal us, and to return us to our natural state of oneness.
Recently, I watched a video on Facebook where a white man and some black men were having a conversation.
One of the black men, Charles, said he wanted his children to be happy, to have a good job, and go to school like everyone wants for their children.
And this young white guy seemed so shocked that Charles would want the same thing for his children as he did. Tears were just streaming down my face.
In the past, I would have kept this deep sadness locked inside and numbed to it.
That day, I freely cried and talked about it. I talked to my counselor and later with some friends at dinner.
By the time I got home, I was able to pray for this young white man who didn't understand. I sent he and his children love because that's what they need.
That's what the world needs right now, love. All of this hate is coming out of fear and teachings of ignorance. That young white man is a poster child for ignorance.
I could resort to calling him names and be mean about it, but what good would that do?
When we judge someone else, we judge ourselves. When we say something mean, we say it to ourselves.
I have a process that works for me now. I talk about the things that cause pain, and I pray about it.
The silence needs to be broken. People are afraid to stand up and voice their feelings.
People ignore off-color jokes, but we need all of us to have the courage to stand up and say it's not okay.
It's not just my mom or Charles. Even a terrorist wants their kids to graduate from high school, to be loved and thrive in life.
My mom and I are connecting on a whole new level now. I sent her some spiritual material, and she's interested in learning more.
We can all progress further than we ever imagined. Along with my siblings and me, my mom went back to complete high school and even earned her own college degrees.
It's never too late. We can all succeed and heal. It's about being open to who we truly are.
I know this now in my bones. Not only am I supposed to be here, but I'm needed here to take a stand for the truth, and so are you.
The dance of all of our beautiful human diversity is a cause for celebration, a return home to oneness.
We are one.
Let's bless Zula with, I think, the perfect song, How Could Anyone? I'm sure you remember this one. Do we have words? How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How deeply? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
Thank you. Thank you, Trey, also for helping us read Zula's story. Timely stories, wouldn't you say? Yeah. Yeah. So it's a time that it's really good for us to come together as a community, isn't it? A time where it's really wonderful to come together on Sundays and worship together, to witness each other's stories, to reach out and to understand our community members more fully and what they go through. And if you want to talk a little bit more about what's going on in our world, I want to invite you to do so. We're going to have, I think there's a slide there too, Chris, a council gathering coming up on Thursday, August 31st from 7 to 8:30 right here in this room. So if you just want to come and talk about your feelings and have us together talk about ways that we can shift consciousness in the world and also healing for ourselves. This was a big part of Zula's story, that she really wanted to talk about it in a wider context. So it's a nice follow-up for us to come and share together. So if you're interested, come join us. And then interestingly, in these times, we have this very unique eclipse happening tomorrow, right? Where the swath of the United States will go into full darkness. Just in case we didn't get it. That the shadow has emerged and the wounds are exposed. The earth and the moon and the sun decided to do a little dance for us, just so we really get it. So tomorrow, at the height of the time that the eclipse will be happening in Walnut Creek, we're going to gather here on the lawn and have some prayer time together. So from 10 to 10:30, if you want to join us for the eclipse, there's a slide about that too, thank you. And you can BYOG. If you've got glasses, if you're one of those few people that ran out and got your glasses, you can bring those. Otherwise, it'll just be a time of prayer and experiencing that time as the shadow turns to light. That's what we're all about, right? Bless you all. Maybe see you tomorrow.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of like in stun. Zula, thank you. Thank you, thank you. And I don't know whose idea this was, but right on. Larry, thank you. How powerful you both are in your story and your experience and your willingness to share with us. Thank you. I feel so blessed. Now, our prayer chaplains will be available after this service to provide personal prayer support. They are wearing the lavender stoles, and whether or not you have a joy or a concern on your heart today, praying with our prayer chaplains is a very powerful opportunity to have your intentions raised up in consciousness. And now it's time for our prosperity celebration. Let's open our hearts to the consciousness of giving as we align with the universal law of circulation, which is, as we give, so shall we receive. And in truth, there is no lack or limitation, because abundance is our true nature. There are a variety of ways that you can give financially to this community. For credit card donations, you can use PushPay on your smartphone or take an envelope from the clipboard in the back of the seat in front of you. And those of you at home, we didn't forget, you can do PushPay, or you can do the donate button on the Watch Life page. Now I encourage you to take your tithes and your love offering into your hand and into your heart and repeat the affirmation with me together. Divine love, one with me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am joy-filled and grateful. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Wow, those stories just knocked me out. Maybe knocked me in is more the right word. Yeah. As I was listening to the stories, I was just so moved, and it made me think of a gathering I was at many years ago with a wonderful teacher named Stephen Levine. And Stephen is now gone, but an amazing teacher. He was in the midst of the AIDS epidemic, so it was a while back. And the stories I was hearing from people were just unbelievable. I couldn't imagine this level of suffering. And, oh, sorry. And somebody said, after hearing these stories of such suffering, some of which we've heard today, Stephen, how do we go on in this world? Stephen's was a Buddhist, and but a sweet, sweet being, not in the esoteric, out there kind of gone world. He just said, shook his head and he said, we have to be willing to be God's fool. I mean, you just keep going on somehow. There's a high road headed out over the mountains, and that's the one I'm traveling on. Down in the valleys, bumper to bumper, they're gunning their engines and shaking their fists at each other. Out here the air is clear, and I can see for miles. I lean back, let it all go, and just watch the passing show. You know I never liked the game, and I'm tired of the rules. I don't know where this road leads. I guess I'll just be one of God's fools. Off in the distance I can hear that city rumble and moan, and that graveyard skyline makes me shudder. It's one thing to live that life, but to believe it is another. And on this new horizon I can almost touch the sky. I'm not saying it's gonna be easy, but it's easier than living the lie. You know I never liked the game, and I'm tired of the rules. I don't know where this road leads. I guess I'll just be one of God's fools. Standing where there is no standing, asking the questions that have no answers. Now there's only the surrender. Now there's only the surrender. Oh, 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 I'll let the mystery take me away. You want to sing that with me? I'll let the mystery take me away. I'll let the mystery take me away. Just keeps going. I'll let the mystery take me away. You can add this in. I'm one of God's fools. I'll let the mystery take me away. I'm one of God's fools. I let the mystery take me away. I'm one of God's fools. I let the mystery take me away. I'm one of God's fools. I'm one of God's fools. I'm one of God's fools. Every day I'm one of God's fools. Thank you. Thanks for being one of God's fools.
Thank you, Stephen, for reminding us of who we are. And let's bless these gifts that are symbols of the gifts that have been given today by our storytellers and our musicians, and all of you bearing witness to the truth of who we are, triumphant beings. Let's speak this affirmation together and bless these gifts. Together, we give thanks for the ever-increasing, unceasing flow of absolute good in our lives now. So it is. Let's bring our children in.
We are marching in the light of God. We are marching in the light of God. We are marching in the light of God. We are marching in the light of God.
marching, marching, we are
marching in the light of God. We are marching, marching, we are marching, marching, we are marching in the light of God.
Stories of triumph. I know you all had some wonderful stories to tell too, and I would love to hear them all, but we're out of time. So we're going to bless you and trust that you'll tell your stories at home to your parents too. Okay? Let's bless our youth and teachers. Youth and teachers, you are loved, special, and important. The light of God shines through you. Let's say our prayer of protection together and sing our peace song. Together, you may join hands with somebody nearby if you wish. Together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. God ever present, family are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. Let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment, live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
You are the love and the light and the peace on earth right now. So let your light shine and have fun.
Thank you.